Look at this. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to World FMC Studio. I recognize so many old names and new names. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're going to give 30 seconds for people to come into the room, settle in, um, to participate in this exciting studio. Welcome, everybody. Today, we will be talking about women farmers and farmers markets, the symbiotic and mutually uplifting relationship between the two as part of building inclusive local food systems. We are grateful that you are here with us. It's been a minute for me to moderate our studios again. I'm very happy to see all of you. I think that there is a team of farmers in Kenya who's gathered in one room. Do I see them? Can somebody speak up? Which room is that? I just wanted to welcome all of you. There's something like 70 farmers from Kenya to join this conversation and also cheer on for Dr. Sophie, one of our speakers. So welcome. We're very grateful for that. Okay, well, without much ado, we have 75 minutes of very exciting and dynamic and busy session. So I'm going to get started. Gonna share screen. Somebody will tell me they can see the screen share. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Manuel. Okay. Welcome, everybody. The United Nations FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, has designated 2026, that's this year, as the first International Year of the Women Farmer, recognizing the critical contributions of women to agriculture, food production, rural livelihoods, and food security worldwide. How many of you here are women farmers? Raise your hand. Keep your hands up. And how many of you work with a woman farmer every day? I think it's a lot of you, if not everybody. Wonderful. Women, as we know, are at the heart of food systems being
Sí,
agricultural
claro.
production, processing, marketing, and household nutrition, and marketing including selling, like farmers market. Every corner of food systems, women are at the heart. And in fact, women make up an average of something like 43% of the agricultural labor force in developing countries in particular. And in the, global north, it's really, the number is not that different. It's a big swath of majority. And we also know, according to the UN, that in developing countries, especially, women produce between 60 to 80% of the food intended for local consumption. And this is really also with 15% of land holding, women owning land globally. So that's a really lopsided statistics here. And specific to farmers market, women farmers heavily dominate farmers markets and direct to consumer sales compared to conventional commercial farming. World Farmers Markets Coalition did Farmers Markets Count campaign, global campaign last year. You remember? And we have some preliminary results, including um, um, the results conducted across 34 farmers markets in 11 different countries that we found that women represented 56%, 5, 6, that's almost 60% of interviewed farmers, and that over 90% of respondents who answered our surveys own their own farms, and they're all women. So now let's talk about farmers market. Farmers markets serve an essential low barrier entry point for female agriculture entrepreneurs that is unique from larger conventional farms. At the same time, women have not only benefited from farmers market, but have often been instrumental in farmers market development and success across many regions. All the regions we cover as a World Farmers Market Coalition, women act as producers, market managers, entrepreneurs, community leaders, and innovators, helping farmers market become vibrant hubs for local economic development, food security, biodiversity, conservation, and social inclusion. So today we're going to explore this reciprocal relationship, symbiotic relationship between women and farmers markets. And we have a wonderful studio for you today. Let me see. This is the order, so I'm doing my introduction. My name is Robin Moon. I'm from World Farmers Markets Coalition, moderator today. And we have keynote speakers Taco Ndiaye from FAO and Miss Ibtihal Khreesha from the UN. And then we will follow by three guest speakers who are our members, Shada Al-Azeh, Magdalena Fuertes, and Sophie K. Njue. And we will hopefully have time. We will do our best to interact with you at the end with question and answers. But we ask you to please drop your comments as they occur. You know, any sentiments, emotions, any questions, comments, please put it in the chat and we will moderate that real time as our speakers speak. Okay? Okay. Oh, that's me. And we're going to start with Taco. Taco, in many worlds that she's part of, she doesn't need an introduction, but she is the gender team leader at the Rural Transformation and Gender Equality Division at the UN FAO, coordinating a multidisciplinary team that oversees and supports the implementation of normative, technical, and programmatic work on issues related to agri-food systems, rural transformation, natural resource management, and climate change. I mean, that's basically naming all of our macro crises in this world. She provides strategic leadership to initiatives related to the celebration of the International Year of the Woman Farmer. She has, in the last 29 years, been mainstreaming, creating a normative on gender and social inclusion in policies, programs, institutions, statistics, and investment plans, focusing on the agri-food sector. Welcome, Taco. I'm going to
Thank you.
let you take over from here.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Robin. It's a great pleasure to be here today to speak about an issue that's at the heart of women farmers. And from our flagship publication on the status of women in agri-food systems, we know that globally, 41% of working women are employed in agri-food systems, and along with 43% of men. So agri-food systems are a major employer of women. We also know that they're a greater source of livelihoods for women than for men, especially in low and income and middle income countries. In such countries such as sub-Saharan Africa, 70% of working women are employed in agri-food systems. We also know that women's roles in such systems are wide-ranging as producers, processors, innovators, traders, and vendors.
The other right, sorry.
Yeah, yes. So we know that women play essential roles in sustaining markets. They manage stalls, negotiate sales, build the consumer relationships, create brands, oversee food preparation and processing, and the packaging organized through cooperatives and other producer organizations, and also coordinate logistics. So why markets matter for women? And I think I can also ask the question the other way around, why women are essential for markets. We know that women's market participation creates higher income, better food security and nutrition, diversified livelihoods, greater financial autonomy, and improved well-being. We also know that they face multiple constraints, and such constraints are challenges in ensuring women's entry into the most lucrative markets, but also making sure that they have optimal performance in the markets and that they benefit equally. And the challenges range from limited access to land, especially when we talk about secure land rights, but also the limited access to finance and credit, which in many cases is very strongly related to lower land rights because they don't have land as collateral, limited access to technologies and digital tools, the market information, the business networks. They also they have very low representation in leadership roles. There are other constraints related to mobility, the transportation, the safety issues, and time poverty, because the more they engage in unpaid care and domestic work, the less time they have to engage in market activities and other productive activities. So what we've learned from the different publications and data and analysis of FAO is that when women are empowered, then we can enhance the well-being of their families and community, reduce hunger, improve the dietary diversity and the nutrition, but also boost the incomes and the economies and strengthen the resilience of households to shocks and stressors. So women's empowerment is the key area of investment for rural development. It's really investing in women is a very smart shortcut for reaching the SDGs and other goals. We know that reducing gender disparities in employment, education, and income could eliminate 52% of the food insecurity gap. We also know that closing the gender gap in farm productivity and wages could raise global gross domestic product by $1 trillion and reduce food insecurity for 45 million people. We know that also empowering rural women through targeted development interventions could increase income for 58 million more people and boost the resilience of 235 million people. So coming to the International Year of the Woman Farmer, this is an international year that belongs to everyone. Can I have the next slide, please? It was proclaimed not by FAO, but by the United Nations General Assembly after years of gathering evidence, dialogue, and advocacy, in which FAO played a key role. There are 123 UN member states that have formally addressed the resolution proclaiming the International Year. And FAO, in collaboration with IFAD and the World Food Programme, which are the other UN ROM-based agencies, as we usually call them, the RBAs, FAO is facilitating the implementation and observance of the year. And like we said, it really belongs to all constituencies, UN organizations, member countries, international organizations, and stakeholders, civil society, women farmers, everybody. So we encourage all of you to join and celebrate in your own unique ways. So we see the year as a unique opportunity to raise awareness on the multiple and crucial roles that women farmers play in agri-food systems and their contributions to food security, nutrition, and poverty eradication. But we also learn and highlight actions that can help close the gender gap in terms of providing access to productive and other resources, education, training, technology, to address the inequalities. And we also want to guide and channel policy making, the programming, and the increased investment so that beyond the awareness raising, we can have tangible results or transformation for women farmers, so that they can thrive and also help rural areas to thrive. So there are two main objectives. Like I said, one is more shorter, medium term, about increasing the awareness, the better understanding, addressing the challenges related to women's roles in agri-food systems, the land tenure issues, the financial needs and constraints, but also the technical needs and education. But we also want to support the policy development and the long-term investment in terms of empowering women farmers and connecting the different international efforts on women farmers to ensure that they remain a global priority beyond the international year. So this is the definition that we have adopted for the women farmers. I'm not going to read it textually, but you would see from this definition that it's really about all women working in agri-food systems. And in the definition, you would see that all subsectors of agriculture are included, whether we are talking about crops, livestock, fisheries and aquaculture, forestry. You would also see that it encompasses women who are engaged not only in the farm segments, but also the off-farm segments of agri-food systems. You would see that it addresses intersectionality, looking at women in their diversity from women refugees, older women, younger women, women living with disabilities, indigenous women, and so on. So the vision statement for the International Year is a world where women farmers in all their diversity are fully recognized, supported, and empowered with equal rights, resources, and decision-making power to drive food security, nutrition, poverty reduction, and resilient and sustainable agri-food systems. So how do we advance the goals of the year through farmers market? We can better position farmers markets as platforms for women's economic and social empowerment, expand their access to finance, market information, the training, the mentorship, the business development services, connect women to nutrition, health, and reproductive health services, invest in safe, accessible, and gender responsive infrastructure, including childcare services, strengthening women's leadership in market governance and decision making, fostering the networking, the collective action, and the community engagement. And at FAO, we have implemented the Global Network and Farmers Markets Project, building evidence and capacities to strengthen farmers markets and expand opportunities for women farmers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Taco. There's a really great summary, high-level overall summary of the International Year of Women Farmer, and including the role of farmers market. And I believe the World Farmers Market Coalition is part of the Global Farmers Market Project by FAO. And we have our General Assembly coming up in Kenya coming October. So this gives us a lot of ideas as to how we can take an active role in promoting this year. So thank you for your presentation. And at the end, I would love to ask some questions about how tangibly we can utilize the year of women farmers so that it's not just like a 1 year thing, but many years of sustained celebration and promotion to come. So Taco, I will ask you questions later, and thank you so much. And I see that Tamara, you have your hand up. I'm going to ask those who have questions for now to please drop your questions in the chat, we will promise that we will make sure that we ask those questions at the end. And then we will open the floor for you to interact directly at the end of the presentation. And I thank you for your understanding. Okay, next up is Miss Ibtihal Khreesha. She also is one who doesn't need a introduction, but I am going to try to summarize her bio. She is the agricultural attaché and deputy permanent representative of the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan to the United Nations agencies in Rome. Over a decade of leadership experience she has in Jordan's Ministry of Agriculture. She has held senior positions across animal health, agricultural development, and regional governance, including under General Secretary for Animal Wealth and Director of the Al Mafraq Governorate Agriculture Directorate. She has also served as a consultant to the Jordanian Minister of Agriculture. And within Jordan and globally at the international level, she's been a player. Ms. Khreesha currently serves as a chair of the steering committee for the International Year of the Women Farmer. So we are all here. The folks here are all involved in the International Year of the Women Farmer 2026. She's also the vice chair of the G77 in China and a member of the steering committee of Global Framework on Water Scarcity in Agriculture. And with that, I will hand it over to Ms. Khreesha. We don't have slides for your presentation, but I would love for the highlight to be on her and ask you the first question. You've been involved, you've been working. You have been working at the UN for a long time, and you have been promoting the position of women farmers through the various venues, policy programs, and investment. Can you share with us one or two examples, tangible examples of what promising policies and practices and investment that you have made real?
Thank you, thank you. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the World Farmers Market Coalition for this kind invitation and for organizing this important dialogue in celebration of the International Year of the Woman Farmer. I also wish to thank the organizers and my fellow speakers. From my experience, promoting the position of women farmer requires more than policy statement. It requires giving women real visibility, direct participation, and access to the space where decisions, partnerships, and opportunities are created. And one promising practice I have worked on through Jordan's engagement with the United Nations agencies in Rome has been to ensure that Jordanian women farmers are not only spoken about in international meetings, but are present themselves. We work to bring Jordanian rural women and women producers to several international platforms, including FAO exhibitions, the launch activities of the International Year of the Woman Farmer, and the Rome Nutrition Week. Their participation was not symbolic. They displayed their products, shared their experiences, took part in traditional cooking demonstrations, and presented the stories behind their business. This was important because it allows them to move from being beneficiaries described in reports to become visible actors, entrepreneurs, and representative of rural Jordan. For me, this is very practical from a form of empowerment. When women farmers stands in an international forum, explains her product, tell her story, and meets institutions, consumers, and potential partners directly, she gains much more than exposure. She gains confidence, networks, and access to new possibilities. A second example is the work we have done to connect individual success stories with wider policy discussions. One such story is Samira's. Samira was living with anemia, and she transformed that personal challenge into an agricultural opportunity. She introduced peanut cultivation in Al Mafraq Governorate, and later developed a natural peanut butter made from peanuts and honey without artificial additives or refined sugar. Her story shows that women farmers are not simply waiting for support. They are innovating, creating value, and developing new products. When they often need What they often need is an enabling system around them, access to market, support for product development, visibility, partnership, and opportunity to scale. This is why I believe that one of the most promising approaches at the UN level is to connect policy with real women, real enterprises, and real market opportunities. We should not measure success only by number of a project launched or training session delivered. We should ask, are women reaching markets? Are their business surviving? Are they participating in decision making? Are they visible as leaders and innovators? For me, the most effective policy is one that helps women move from participation to influence, and from temporary support to sustainable opportunity. And
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Khreesha. I have a follow-up question to that. This is my 3 decades of work that I struggle with. I don't think we need to explain why it's so important for, large intergovernmental organizations like the UN to lead this conversation and policy change and, all of this narrative. At the same time, we're talking about women on the ground, right? So you're talking about, amplifying these women, individual women's voices, and to hear directly from them what has been successful, how we can do better. And there's a gap. There's a gap between the high UN and what's on the ground. And I know you, as a women leader, you see that at micro, macro level all the time. How would you reconcile? Like, what have you been doing to reconcile what happens up here at the UN and to make sure that impact really is felt by the women on the ground? We can also you can give examples of, how you've been doing it in Jordan as well. We'd love to know more about your work in Jordan.
For me, you want to know the relation between the theoretical, you want
really high level call to action, and to make sure that the women on the ground actually feel the impact of that, the gap between the, UN level and on the ground.
Okay. I think that the relationship is not theoretical. It comes from my own experience working directly with rural women. Before representing Jordan at the United Nations in Rome, I served as I told you, as the director of Al Mafraq Governorate, working closely with women's empowerment directorate at the Ministry of Agriculture. We supported many rural women through grants and small agricultural enterprises. We helped them establish business in food production and processing, believing that financing and training were the key to empowerment. However, after visiting many of these projects, I realized that that almost every woman asked me the same question. we can produce, but who will buy our products? That simple question completely changed my perspective. I realized that the real challenge was not production, it was access to markets. So instead of focusing on only grants, we started organizing agricultural festivals and rural exhibition where women could sell their products directly to consumers. The impact was remarkable. Women increased their income, built relationship with customers, received immediate feedback, and perhaps most importantly, gained confidence in themselves and in the value of their work. At the same time, consumers benefit as well. They discover authentic local products, traditional recipes, and the stories behind those products. They began to trust the producers because they met them face to face. This is why I believe the relationship is truly reciprocal. Women farmers strengthen farmers markets by bringing quality, diversity, traditional knowledge, and authentic local products. And farmers markets strengthen women farmers by giving them visibility, income, confidence, and direct access to consumers. Later, I was very pleased to see that Jordan established permanent exhibition for rural products in the northern part of the country. For me, this represents an important step forward because while festivals create wonderful opportunity, permanent markets provide continuity and sustainability. They allow women to build a long-term business instead of waiting for the next exhibition. That is why I see farmers market not simply as place where products are sold. They are platforms for economic empowerment, cultural preservation, social inclusion, and community development. When women farmers succeed, farmer markets become stronger. And when farmer markets become stronger, rural communities become more resilient.
Thank you so much. You're basically saying that the link between the high level UN call to action and the actual change felt on the ground is local food system and farmers market. We will take that call, your call to action to our own. Thank you. And I think that there's another answer, Ms. Khreesha. It's leaders in general, but women leaders like you who amplify these voices. I used to say or hear things like, like, I want to be the voice for the voiceless. There's really nobody who doesn't have a voice. They have been talking. It's just that they're not heard. So you are there. So these women on the ground have been speaking, and you are the one among other leaders here like Taco and our members who amplify the voices that are being spoken. So we thank you for the work that you're doing, being in between, being the a facilitator for all of our women farmers in the world and in Jordan. Thank you. Last question. I know there's so many, this is an unfair question because there's so many challenges. Can you share with us maybe one or two biggest challenge you experience every day doing this work?
Yeah, in my opinion, the biggest challenge at the local level is not production. Many women farmers already have the skill. They know how to produce high-level food, preserve traditional recipes, and develop innovative products. Many have also benefit from training program, grants, and technical support. The real challenge being after all of that begins when they ask, how do I continue selling my product tomorrow, next month, and next year? In many cases, women can access a temporary exhibition, a seasonal market, or a short-term project. But when the project ends, the exhibition closes, they often lose their main marketing channel. That is why I believe the biggest challenge is creating sustainable and continuous access to market. From my experience, women do not need opportunity only once or twice a year. They need reliable market access through the year. This is why I was so pleased when Jordan established the permanent exhibition for rural products in the northern region of the country. It reflects an important shift from temporary events to permanent opportunity. But I also believe we should continue thinking beyond our national borders. Today, technology offers a new possibilities. Imagine a consumer here in Rome discovering a Jordanian rural product through a digital platform, reading the story of the woman who made it, placing an order, and knowing that the payment goes directly to the producer. Technology should not replace farmer market. It should extend their reach. This is where I believe partnership become essential. Governments, international organization, farmers market network, and the private sector all have a role in creating sustainable marketing opportunities for women farmers. Because when women gain continuous access to market, they do much more than increase their income. They preserve local tradition, they create job, they do a lot. For me, that is the next step in women's empowerment, not simply helping women produce more, but ensuring they can continue to prosper. I think the future of women farmer is not determined by what they produce. It is determined by whether they have the market that they have a market that believes in them.
Not the production, but whether the market that they sell. And we believe the farmers market can be a huge answer. Thank you so much, Ms. Khreesha. We have a very active MENA region within World Farmers Market Coalition. Jordan is not yet a member, and I believe we're changing that very soon, right? We will add Jordan. We look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you for your
Yes.
inspiration.
Yes, sure,
And thank
sure.
you for being here.
Thank you, thank you.
Wonderful. Okay. We are now going to our members. What our member women leaders have to say. Shada Al-Azeh from Palestine. She is a Palestinian environmental and community activist from Bethlehem, Palestine. She has degrees in environmental studies and has many years of experience working with Palestinian refugee communities in the fields of sustainable agriculture, environmental justice, and community development. She is a co-founder of a Rihanna Association, which supports women, youth, and local agriculture and food initiatives in refugee camps. Shada is a lecturer in sustainable and hydroponic agriculture and works to promote home gardening and rooftop agriculture. She works very closely with our Palestinian member organization, Dahlia Association. Welcome, Shada. I will let you take it from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank the World Farmers Markets Coalition for inviting me to participate in this important discussion, actually. It is a great honor to join you today during the International Year of the Women Farmers. As you said, my name is Shada Al-Azeh, and I'm honored also to represent Dahlia Association and Rayhana Society, two Palestinian organizations working to strengthen sustainable agriculture, food sovereignty, and women's economic empowerment. I'm also a third generation Palestinian refugee. I live in Aida refugee camp, and my family comes originally from Beit Jibrin village, which is only 8 kilometers away and impossible to reach there. So actually, I did not choose to become a refugee. While during the Nakba in 1948, as you know, more than 800,000 Palestinians were forcibly displaced, and over 500 Palestinian villages, including my family's village of Beit Jibrin, were destroyed. So, as refugees, we lost our land and we lost our farms. Today, like many Palestinian refugees, we live in a refugee camp and we no longer have agricultural land to cultivate. While yet losing actually our land didn't mean losing our relationship with agriculture. Instead, we found new ways to grow food. We grow food on rooftops, in home gardens, and in small urban spaces, turning actually limited spaces into opportunities to strengthen food security and also to preserve our agricultural heritage and create livelihoods for women and their families. So, for Palestinian women, agriculture is not far more than a source of food or income, actually. It is a living expression of identity, of resilience, and of cultural heritage. So today, actually, Palestinian women face a huge challenges. They face shrinking access to agricultural land, also the movement restrictions, expanding Israeli settlements, recurrent attacks on farmlands, and increasing Israeli settler violence targeting olive trees, crops, and farming communities. So, despite these actually realities, women continue to cultivate the land, to preserve traditional farming knowledge, and even sustain their families. So, if I just like to give you a number, for many rural households, agriculture is not only part of our heritage, but it is primary source of food and income. So women are involved in every stage of local food systems, starting from planting, harvesting, food processing, and marketing local products. So although official statistics show that around for the women that represent around 17% of agricultural workforce only in the West Bank. And their actual contribution is much greater because like so much of them and of their work takes place within family farms as it is often actually unfortunately unpaid. So for refugee women, the challenge is even greater. Why? Because many of us no longer own agricultural land. That is why, like, urban agriculture has become our way to rebuilding our relationship with the land while strengthening food security and creating livelihoods. So, let me just give you an example or one example where I live right now. At Rihana Association, we wanted to prove that even the smallest space in the West Bank or smallest refugee camp can become productive. Our refugee camp covers only 0.01 square kilometers and leaving almost no space for agriculture. Instead of accepting this limitation, we transformed a 40 square kilometer, sorry, a 40 square meters rooftop greenhouse, 40 square meters rooftop greenhouse into a hydroponic farming system, producing around 1,200 seedlings. So today, 50 refugee women cultivate, harvest, and manage this production But we didn't stop there, actually. We connected the greenhouse to a woman-led production kitchen, and where fresh produce is transformed into traditional Palestinian food products that we marketed and sold locally. And it is also a message to boycott the Israeli products. In this way, agriculture becomes much more than food production. It creates income. It also strengthens women's income empowerment, preserve our actually heritage, and contributes to resilient local food systems. So for us, actually, this is not simply an agricultural project, actually. It is a model of resilience where women transform limited resources into opportunities and strengthen their communities from the ground up. So, at the end, I would like to leave you with one final thought that our experience shows that women actually, when they have the knowledge, opportunity, and access to market, they can transform even the smallest spaces into resilient local food system that create livelihoods, restore dignity, and strengthen communities, and also build hope. And thank you.
Shada, thank you so much. My last question to Ms. Khreesha was, what are some of the challenges? And you're basically saying, we don't wait until the challenges are gone. We just build it anyway. You take the land away from me, then I will build farm up on the roof, up in the sky, and I'm going to sell it, is what you're telling us. And this is an incredible resilience and innovation and sustainable action. I know that the folks have questions about, the resilience and the sustainability of all this work. You just gave us a living example of that. Thank you so much, and best wishes to you and your people. We respect your work so much.
Many thanks.
Amazing. Woof. Okay, you see how our members are so incredible. Next, we go to Latin America. Maria Magdalena Fuertes Flores. She is an indigenous Quechua leader for Cotacachi in Babra, Ecuador. She is the president of the Women's Central Committee of the Union of Campesino Organizations of Cotacachi. She has been a proud member of World Farmers Markets Coalition from the very beginning. She's a dedicated advocate for Indigenous women's leadership and promotes Indigenous feminism and the central role of women in strengthening their communities and preserving cultural heritage. Much like what Shada was saying about this farming work being the identity, cultural heritage of all of us. Her work focuses on advancing food sovereignty, land sovereignty, by championing access to healthy, local, and culturally appropriate food systems while fostering community self-sufficiency. Welcome, Magdalena. I think you're going to be speaking in Spanish. So if you have not yet changed your channel into English or the appropriate language, please do. And Magdalena, floor is yours. Yeah. Let's see. We don't hear from her. Is she still Magdalena, can you hear me?
Robin, I'm sorry. I just checked in the list of the participants, and Magdalena is not here anymore.
Oh, it's the
I think
connection.
I think she had problems with the connection. So if we can just
Okay,
move
let's
forward,
move on.
and we will
Okay.
call her. Thank
I
you.
know she's had a connection issue earlier, so we're gonna come back to her. But that was her bio, and we're very excited to hear from her. We're gonna go now to Sub-Saharan Africa, Dr. Sophie K. Njue. She is, I think the label is wrong here. She's from Nairobi, Kenya. She's a livestock development expert, veterinary epidemiologist, and program management specialist with nearly 3 decades of experience, transformative leadership experience across East Africa, spanning food security, agriculture early warning system, emergency response planning, agricultural resilience, and rural livelihoods. She has held pivotal roles not only domestically but also globally with FAO and other international NGOs and governments of Kenya and Somalia, leading something like multiple $1 million programs funded by the World Bank, USAID, and European Union. Her bio goes on. Her farm, she has a farm, she's a farmer. Her farm actively participates in the Nairobi Farmers Market. That is one of our members. And a new farmers market that we helped start in the last year or so. And she's also a member of Regional Coalition for Farmers Market, RACOF. There's a whole room full of Nairobi farmers watching you. I will hand over the mic to you, Dr. Sophie.
Thank you very much for that intro. Hello, everyone. Sophie Kate Joy has introduced. I'm the co-founder of Dell's Farm, and this Dell's Farm, I'm presenting the model that we use. So Dell's Farm was established as a family farm, and it is situated in Embu County in Kenya. It was established in 2022 by myself and my 2 daughters. It is a climate smart model farm combining regenerative agriculture, circular economy principles, and carbon neutral approaches to bridge and advanced agricultural theory with the realities of smallholder farming. So our mantra is rooted in nature, grown with care. To give you an example of circular economy, we grow sunflowers that provide pollen for bees, and these bees, I use these to produce honey, which is one of our products. We also have sunflower oil that we get from sunflowers, and this sunflower also as a byproduct, we get sunflower cake that is fed into to animals, our goats, that produce manure that is used for fertilizing the soil, and this soil is used for growing the sunflower. So there we close the loop. On the carbon neutral approaches, we have solar power and water irrigation systems that we have, and that reduces our carbon print on the farm. Next, please. Women are the drivers of this farm, and we own 80% of this land, resources, and infrastructure. We have 4 women professionals who have deep expertise that cut across veterinary medicine, geospatial engineering, process chemical engineering, and social sciences that are at the top of functions of this farm. And the functions include management, production, business innovation, value-added product lines, marketing, community training programs. 60% of labor is provided by women from the community. Next, please. In our farm, we are looking at the 5 pillars of resilient food system to which we contribute. And one of the pillars is sustainable production, where we use regenerative, climate resilient farming that supports biodiversity and reduces pollution. On nutritious consumption, our farm contributes to nutrient conservation through drying and packaging, taking into account food safety and standards. On reduced food loss, we have smart storage, value addition, and also this access to the food market. On knowledge and skills, then we have a training hub at our farm, whereby we train the farmers in the community on hands-on farmer education, and also we have community outreach. We also advocate for to promote equity and strengthen food security and make food affordable. In terms of market ecosystem, we belong to a market ecosystem where we have direct access to market and also to the community. So Dell's Farm bypasses middlemen to engage consumers directly, and that way we are able to access information directly from consumers, improve our processes, and improve our products to meet the consumer needs. The market spaces that we have also provide predictable, meaningful revenue streams that enable us to have economic stability. We have direct-to-consumer sales shield operations, which shield operations from market volatility, and these lead to enhanced livelihood resilience. The Dell's Farm stores drive local economic development and social inclusion through this community hub that we have established on our farm. We are members of the Regional Coalition Farmers Market, and we are active members at Nairobi Farmers Market. So in this market, we are tapping from the regional network, whereby we have gotten marketing opportunities and also side business. When it comes to challenges, we have quite a number, but I've only chosen 3 for the sake of this presentation. So in terms of operations, we have limited processing and storage capacity. And to address this, we are investing in low-cost drying technology to prolong our storage and even out supply of our vegetables that we sell as dried vegetables. We also outsource services for oil processing. We do sunflower production. So the other constraint we have is on access to finance and working capital. And to address this financial barrier, we are building partnerships with financiers and leveraging on farmers' market revenue for reinvestment. The other barrier that we have and many producers have is secure, scalable land tenure. For us, this is important for our future expansion, and we are advocating for inclusive land policy and demonstrating backable models like the one we have. Also, maximizing use of available land. We find that this issue is not only our enterprise issue, but also a community issue. We have an enterprise where people are growing chat farming, and this is under the hands of men. So this has reduced land access for women, and they're not able to produce enough food, and we are facing food security issues. So in Dell's Farm, it is our desire to empower smallholder women in this area to produce safe, wholesome, organic products, food, and access sustainable value chains through our community hubs. Next, please. There is a reciprocal loop between empowerment and growth. And what we have realized is that market access empower women because direct market participation strengthens women's economic voice and confidence. And this empowerment feeds back into expanding production, products, and reach. And if we are able to address the challenges then that we have in terms of operation, finances, and land access, then there is hope in scaling in the future by unlocking new pathways to future-proof, sustainable food systems. Next, please. So, in conclusion, we can say that when women trained across science turn to the land, they don't leave their expertise behind, they root it. And that is what we are doing in Dell's Farm. So this is the end of my presentation. Please remember to follow us on Instagram, and there's a link that is provided there. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, Sophie. Thank you so much. You brought us the whole entire farm run by women. What a huge inspiration. And, like I said before, our General Assembly will be in Nairobi. I hope to meet you in person. We could maybe visit your farm. Thank you. What an inspiration. Okay, is Magdalena here? Are you ready? Let's go back to Ecuador.
Buenos días, mil disculpas. Sí, sí, sí. Buenos días con todos. Ha sido un gusto poder estar en esta coalición, en este foro y poder compartir la experiencia de trabajo de mujeres agricultoras dentro de nuestra organización, que es el Comité Central de Mujeres UNORCAG. Dentro de esto, nosotros como mujeres agricultoras dentro de la zona andina de Cantón Cotacachi, tenemos alrededor de más o menos 4.000 familias. Dentro de 4.000 familias en nuestra organización como mujeres organizadas están 350. Dentro de 350 son mujeres agricultoras que conservan mucho nuestra agrobiodiversidad, están dentro de nuestras comunidades. Tenemos también un espacio de comercialización que hacemos cada domingo en nuestra organización. Eso es una fortaleza que nosotros tenemos porque tenemos un espacio de la organización, es un espacio propio y no estamos como pidiendo a los municipios un espacio para salir a las ferias. Son una feria permanente de todos los domingos. Dentro de eso, sin embargo, como bien decía alguna de las compañeras, nosotros o las mujeres somos hábiles para producir nuestros productos. Sin embargo, a veces tenemos este inconveniente de la comercialización. A pesar que nosotros tenemos un espacio de comercialización, sin embargo, nos hace falta espacios de comercialización, pero también un espacio de sensibilización a los consumidores en el consumo de producto agroecológico. Agroecológico porque muchas veces nuestros productos son más limpios, más sanos. Sin embargo, tenemos otro mercado que es más municipal cerca, entonces como que no valoran nuestro producto más sano, más limpio. Entonces también otro de los trabajos que tenemos que seguir haciendo es sensibilizar a los consumidores de nuestra feria, de nuestro mercado. Otro es este tema de ir procesando nuestros productos. Hemos estado trabajando mucho también en recuperación de nuestros productos que se están perdiendo, como la zanahoria blanca, como el camote, como otros productos. Por ejemplo, en maíz nosotros tenemos como 17 variedades de maíz, entonces hay un maíz que se comercializa, pero hay otras variedades que no se tiene mucho el mercado. También que en eso se está buscando la manera de ir trabajando qué más podemos sacar de nuestros productos. Para todo esto, yo creo que las mujeres, como bien decían, si las mujeres nos empoderamos, si las mujeres estamos en este espacio, somos hábiles para producir y también para salir al mercado, en el mercado o en la feria que nosotros lo tenemos, porque nosotros lo llamamos feria, la Pachamama nos alimenta. Es un espacio de encuentro de mujeres, de diálogo, no solo es a dónde salgo a vender, sino también en dónde puedo compartir nuestra experiencia de agricultura con las demás compañeras para seguir fortaleciendo. También los adultos mayores salen a este espacio, es un espacio de distracción a este espacio de la feria, entonces para nosotros ha sido muy importante esto. Y otro también que nuestros retos es, por ejemplo, ahora con el tema de cambio climático, el tema de agua, eso es uno de los partes fundamentales. Hay comunidades que tienen agua y hay comunidades que no tienen agua. Eso es uno de los problemas que tenemos también dentro de nuestra. Así como decía, también tenemos pocas tierras, porque también hay ahora las florícolas que van abarcando mucho, accediendo a tierras. También las haciendas que todavía hay, o sea, ellos están metiéndose mucho al trabajo florícola y no en el trabajo de alimentación para el pueblo. Entonces, eso ha sido también uno de los problemas. Sin embargo, estamos en resistencia, trabajando, diversificando nuestro producto. Gracias a Dios también hemos, por todo este trabajo, esta organización que nosotros hemos tenido, también hemos sido reconocida como la chacra andina, sistema importante mundial de agricultura. Dentro de eso estamos también con nuestras chacras fortaleciendo, diversificando nuestras chacras. Esos son otro de los puntos importantes que nosotros hemos logrado trabajando en conjunto, en organización, agrupándonos las mujeres, buscando alternativas, porque creo que este espacio de comercialización ha sido un espacio de empoderamiento a base de la violencia que se ha vivido como mujeres dentro de las comunidades. Sin embargo, también necesitamos hacer incidencia política, porque también queremos que dentro de las ordenanzas cantonales esté puesto estos retos como mujeres que queremos. Así como también nosotros para estar trabajando en la agricultura necesitamos un espacio como los centros de atención a los niños para que ese espacio sea que nuestros niños estén y nosotros como mujeres podamos seguir trabajando en nuestras comunidades. También ha sido importante ir transformando la agricultura, la producción. Por ejemplo, se ha hecho cocina en vivo justo en la feria, en decir qué producto es y cómo se debe preparar, qué tema nutricional tiene para la salud. Entonces, eso también nos ha ayudado mucho de seguir como motivando a nuestros consumidores a comprar en nuestra feria. La gastronomía para nosotros ha sido un punto fundamental de poder, desde la producción y también a la gastronomía. Otro que hemos tenido enlace es también que los centros infantiles donde dan este servicio, que nosotros como mujeres podamos acceder a este espacio de entregar preparación de alimentación para los centros infantiles de los niños, donde dan esta atención. Otro de los espacios que hemos estado logrando también en gestión es poder entregar nuestros productos a las escuelas. Eso hemos también con este tema de las escuelas que entregan a las escuelas. Entonces, eso también ha sido otro punto importante de cómo hacer este convenio desde la organización, desde estas ferias, para que no venga a las escuelas estos productos que vienen de grandes industrias procesados, no, sino que sean nuestros productos consumidos dentro de las escuelas. Eso yo creo que ha sido importantísimo también, que vamos como cogiendo experiencia en tema de agricultura y buscando alternativas, ¿no? Buscando alternativas. Siempre nos hace falta el mercado, las ferias, de ir ganándonos estos espacios y la recomendación también, yo creo que exigir a los gobiernos locales, provinciales, dependiendo del país, que asignen espacios propios para no estar trasladando de un lado a otro lado. Yo creo que eso también es una incidencia política de que poder ir sosteniendo nuestra producción agrícola. Yo creo que en este día ha sido, y otro también, como bien se dice, el tema de cómo generar nuestra cajita de ahorro y crédito, que eso también sea como facilitar a la agricultura créditos para que pueda seguir produciendo dentro de nuestras comunidades. Eso ha sido uno de los trabajos que nosotros hemos venido realizando como mujeres para ir empoderando a nuestras propias agricultoras y poder también ir cambiando poco a poco todo este sistema globalizado. Y gracias a todos los apoyos, gracias a la coalición, nosotros poder estar en estos espacios, poder dialogar, poder contar experiencias, coger otras experiencias para poder fortalecer a nuestras agricultoras. Eso de mi parte podría decir, no sé si hay alguna pregunta más para seguir también con este diálogo. Para nosotros ha sido un gusto poder estar en este espacio como Comité Central de Mujeres UNORCAC.
Magdalena, you're always so eloquent. Thank you so much. You share so many important points. I stopped sharing so we can maybe look at one another. I will try to just like highlight the very important points that Magdalena spoke of and the other speakers as well. Of course, throughout the food systems, we need women, empower women in production, of course, but really it's more than that. We need the market for women to sell. We need awareness, not only of problems and challenges and needs, but also the superiority of the products grown by women and women leadership that exists and that has cultivated improvement and transformation in our world. We also need, like the leaders who spoke today, facilitators, the linkage to amplify the existing voices of the women leaders on the ground. And we are reminded that it's not just about agriculture or the food production, food system where we need to empower women, but it's really beyond. It's about identity. It's about the cultural heritage. It's about the highlighting the poly crisis of climate change that we need to speak about. And it's also about social welfare, such as childcare, because women play so many different roles for all these different systems to support women in farming that is beyond food system. And I also heard many times that you spoke of gratitude, that we are grateful, thankful for what we have been able to do, even with all the challenges, and that we're not waiting. We're not waiting for somebody to come solve our problems. We're still going to trailblaze ahead. So that's the women leaders we have in this room and within our coalition's membership. So thank you so much for all the speakers who came today. We don't really have a lot of time. I was afraid it was going to happen. I hope that we did, the speakers cover a lot of your questions at least at the high level, but this will only be the first conversation, not the only. There will be other conversations throughout the year of International Year of a Women Farmer. We will continue this conversation online and in person. I think that Julia was asking me, we need a picture. So everybody, if you can open your camera just for 30 seconds and we want to capture, we have a lot of people here. It's always so exciting to get us together. this many people. I am so happy to see the familiar names and faces and new faces also. Thank you so much for being here. Big smile, everybody. If there's any questions and follow up, or especially for Taco and Miss Khreesha, if you want to follow up with us on our women member speakers, you want to learn more about how we do our work together, please contact us. And the rest of you, please stay in touch with us. Okay? Thank you for being here, for giving us this time. Richard, we have like 30 seconds if you want to close us up.
Well, I just thank you, Robin, and thank you to all of the speakers for inspiring us in such a remarkable fashion. I am also inspired by what I see in one of the little squares. Alice Mwangi has all of those farmers and women leaders in Kenya
Oh, is
joining
that
us
Alice?
through
Okay.
one. Yeah, it's incredible. No, just thank you for reminding us that not only do farmers markets not just happen, it requires thought and mission and intentionality. It is also requires the same kind of intentionality to make sure that these institutions are enabling institutions, enabling systems that mitigate the risk for women to be the leaders that they are in this field. In terms of using what we have and whether as in Palestine, it is refugee communities, the incredible imagination to take very little things and make them so much stronger, and to make sure that food and community and love for food and community are symbols of resistance and solidarity. And it is underneath our tents and umbrellas that the warmth grows.
Thank you,
Thank
Richard.
you,
Thank
Robin, for
Thank
organizing
you
this.
for the secretariat without whose support we couldn't do this, and also interpreters, translators. Thank you for making this multi-language session possible. Everybody have a wonderful week. We'll see you again at the next studio.